Yo, what is going on? PartTimerZack here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to re-roll for CounterSide and the SEA version. So since it is right around the corner, I just wanted to talk about how to re-roll. It is more of a complicated process. I wouldn't say that it's very hard, it's just very tedious. It kind of takes a lot of steps in order to re-roll, but let's go ahead and dive into the first little step here, and that is getting Bluestacks. It's kind of a hard process to do on mobile, so I wouldn't even really mess with it. If I were you, I would just worry about the emulators, which is Bluestacks, which is what I primarily use. I know that there's other ones out there, so just kind of use whatever one you are preference with, but I would go ahead and download the Bluestacks 4. I haven't tried Bluestacks 5. I know that it's still in beta and I just don't really want to deal with it, so I haven't done that. And then what you're going to want to do, download QApp. So basically you're going to want to get this just because this is where you're actually going to get most of your softwares from, you know, other sides of the country and stuff like that. This is essentially the Play Store for global, essentially. So you can get anything you ever want from this app. So it's actually really cool if you just want to use it just for Play Store anyway. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to download it and it's going to pop up with this. So, alrighty guys, so I actually had to move my camera for this one because you're going to want to click this one to the top. It's a little open sidebar type of thing, and you're going to want to go down here to MultiInstance Manager. So essentially what this is going to do is allow you to run different versions of BlueStack. It's a totally like fresh wipe of BlueStack. So essentially what CounterSide does is every single time that you start and download everything, it gives you like a unique ID code and you can only re-roll off of that. So each time you have to essentially make a new account with a new ID account to re-roll. So what we're essentially doing here is creating a new instance. You can fresh restall, you can name it whatever you want, or after you actually make your CounterSide here, you can actually copy it. But let's go ahead and make a fresh one just so you can get some of the different things. So you can do CPU cores, you can do RAM. I just set it to the highest. Obviously this is more based on your, product and stuff like that. So if you only want to run low, medium, stuff like that, that will kind of hinder you a little bit when it comes to the way that you run the games and stuff like that. So make sure you're paying attention there. And then, obviously the resolution you want to play in 16:9 is okay with me. So let's go ahead and create one. So it's going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and name it like CounterSide SE. Oops, SE, I can't speak. And then we're going to go ahead and start it. So as you can see, I do have Bluestacks running, and then this one is a new instance of it. Okay, so just for the sake of that, that's how you do it. And then you're going to want to reinstall pretty much everything. This is kind of the tedious part because you're basically going to have to reinstall QApp. We're going to go ahead and do that later. But if you have it like on your Windows here, and I'll show you. So I actually have QApp downloaded here on my Windows here. I can get it to pull down. And so all you really have to do is pull this window up and drag it straight into here, and it'll actually download it. So you actually don't have to download from, your browser or whatever for QApp. You can actually just pull and drag it in here and it'll just always download it. And then you want to go in here, you want to download or open up the QApp here, wait for it to load, and then you're going to go ahead and log in. You can log in, you can bind your accounts or whatever if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and do guest. I would probably do that just for the main fact if you're going to keep re-rolling, you don't have to keep logging in. It's just kind of a nuisance. So you're basically going to want to type in CounterSide here. You're going to want to do the SEA version. So right now it's only in pre-register. So that's why I'm going to go show the traditional Korean side, but you can do this with both sides. Obviously, it's just the way we're going to do it with this one. And then we're going to allow access, whatever. I have this little mini game if you want to play it. Whatever, we'll try to get this guy. Why not? Just for the sake of the video, we'll just sit here and do this. And I missed. Okay, whatever. Anyway, and then we're going to wait for this to actually finish. It should be downloading here in the next couple of minutes or whatever. Okay, so once the ad's cut away, it'll actually download your little thing here. As you can see, mine's pretty quick. We're going to do install. We're going to wait for the install. We're just chilling here. And then we're actually going to go over here and you can see that it's installed. And we're going to go ahead and open it. You can open it from here if you want, but I just, for some reason, I wanted to make sure that it was installed. And then you can go ahead and get rid of that taskbar if you want. And then we're going to wait. So this is essentially right here is whenever it gives you your ID card. This is going to be like whenever this little pop up here and says, here, you want to download this? Now I have an ID to this. So each time, each time that I actually do this, it's going to say that. And every time that it says, do you want to download this? That's essentially when it's giving you like this hidden ID type of thing. And then we're pretty much just going to wait for it to download. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that and we'll, pick it back up when it's downloaded. So while it's downloading, I'm actually just going to kill two birds with one stone. So essentially this little thing, I will leave the link in the description, but this is like a beginner guide for SEA. This is some of the units that you're going to want to pull for or look for when you're pulling. And I got to say, a lot of people are saying that Kyle's really good, mainly because he can actually fight any unit if they're in the air or if they're on land. A lot of these units are kind of tied to specific units, whether they're land or air or whatever. Kyle seems to be the one that's most universal. So he's going to be actually able to kind of go a little bit longer than most of these SR or SSR units, mainly because he's able to have a little bit more diversity. But I will leave a link in this description if you guys want to check out kind of what we're looking at or like what you should be rolling for. But essentially there are some SR characters, SSR characters, and just normal characters or whatever that you want to be looking for or rolling for. I don't know specifically on how good are these other SR characters. Some of these characters you just kind of got at the beginning. Like on my Korean playthrough, I actually got this guy and some of the different things here. I think I actually got one of these guys too. So just keep in mind that some of these units are obviously a little bit better. And if you guys run through a little bit of a story campaign and you realize that you don't like a certain character, you can always re-roll. It is a little bit tedious, but this is essentially what you're looking for, as well as this does really give you a good insight of just the overall game in general. It goes through some different basic guides, some different things that you might need to know, and some, you know, tips early on and stuff like that. So this is a very good resource. I've been using it to kind of help me on the Korean side. I just wanted to share with you guys. So we're going to be looking to pull Kyle, I think, is who I want to do, or Esterosa. I think these two characters are really good, and we'll kind of see what we get, obviously, but I want to do that while it's downloading. It's not quite finished, I don't think. Okay, so this is the please wait part. So for some reason it's a little slower always, but I go ahead and go to guest. So this is where it's going to basically ask you where you want to link in. You can bind your account, but for the purpose of re-rolling and stuff like that, I'm just going to go ahead and do a guest account. I'm going to say yes. We're going to go ahead and click yes. This is pretty much saying that you're agreeing to all this, and then we're going to go ahead and get in here. Yep. Okay, let's go. Yep. Okay, let's go. I don't know where we're going to, but we're agreeing to it. And then basically what we're going to do here is it's going to have you go through all this tutorial stuff. So you can't really mess up too much. You just pretty much just go straight through the tutorial. It'll walk you through it. It's pretty well done, even though it's in a kind of different language. It does really well as far as like keeping you on track. So let's go ahead and go through it. I will let you guys go through it, and then I will meet you back up here whenever we're done. All right, guys, so this is basically where we're going to want to be after the tutorial. It'll give you these tutorial summons, and basically we want to click here. We want to say yes, obviously, and we're going to just go ahead and see what we're going to get. So each time that this goes through each reroll, it's going to give you the same amount of units. It's going to give you 1 SSR, and then I think like 3 SRs, and then a couple rares and a couple ends. I think it might not give you any ends. I'm not really sure. We'll kind of have to see here, but I know it's guaranteed SSR. So, okay, we got a pretty good unit. Let me see what we're rolling for. So obviously we're rolling for Kyle here. So we'll kind of see. We're going to go ahead and skip just for the sake of this. So as you can see, okay, so we do get some ends here. As you can see, we can actually keep re-rolling, which where we're going to pretty much do is do this until we can get Kyle. I think we have 1 out of 30 is how I understand this. So we can keep re-rolling until, okay, we actually just got Kyle on the second one, right? Yeah, okay. So that's kind of what we want to look for. So here's where you can kind of start tweaking your SRs if you want to. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and keep Kyle just because I think it's a good roll, and I don't really care too much about the SRs because we can actually get into some better SRs down the road or whatever, and it doesn't really matter too much for me. But okay, so I went ahead and re-rolled a couple more times. We actually got Kyle on our second one, but I went ahead and re-rolled a couple more times. As you can see, I got to 6 here. You can go all the way up to 30, but we got Kyle. We got a pretty decent SR unit, and then another pretty decent SR unit. And actually, we got all these are pretty good SR units, and then some good end units. So I'm going to say I'm just going to go ahead and keep this. This seems to be a really good little run here. So basically, all you want to do is keep rolling until 30. If you don't get what you want, which I kind of find not as likely since you do have these 3 re-rolls, you're going to have to actually go through the whole process again. Like I said, it is a little bit tedious, not really that hard, it's just time consuming. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much how you re-roll and CounterSide. It's going to be the same thing for the SEA side. You're just basically going to have to keep doing this and keep creating different things if you're wanting a certain unit. I will leave a link to the beginner's guide down in the description for you guys. Anyway, guys, have a good rest of your night. Peace.